Welcome to the Geostrategic Podcast.
Hello, everyone, and thanks for joining us for another deep dive. Did Russia just arm Iran with Iskander missiles? Or is this the most dangerous signal yet in Middle East deterrence? In the last 24 hours, Iranian media close to the IRGC claimed that Russia delivered one of its most advanced ballistic missile systems to Tehran. No photos, no confirmation, no denial. And that silence may be the real message. If this is true, it changes how Israel, the United States, and the Gulf calculate warning time, missile defense, and escalation. If it's not true, the rumor alone may already be doing the strategic damage. In this deep dive, we break down what the Iskander really means, why ambiguity matters more than missiles, and who benefits from the uncertainty. Before we begin, make sure to like, subscribe, and share this analysis with anyone following global security, and most importantly, drop your opinion in the comments. Your take matters, and this debate is just getting started. Okay, so let's unpack this. Our mission here really is to get past the rumor itself and analyze what this means for the actual defensive calculus in the Middle East.
Exactly, because whether it's fact or fiction, the mere idea of this threat is already shaping things. It's dictating defense spending, it's changing threat models as we speak.
So let's start with the hardware. What makes this system so different?
Well, what's fascinating here is the technology itself. That's why this is just dominating security discussions. We're talking about the Iskander.
The official designation is the 9K720.
That's it.
Yeah.
And NATO calls it the SS-26 Stone. And it's so much more than just another missile. This is Russia's, premier short-range ballistic missile platform.
And it's designed for what, specifically?
For surgical high-precision strikes. It's built to take out the most protected military infrastructure, and crucially, it's designed to evade modern Western air defense systems.
So when we talk capabilities, this is what has military planners so worried. First off, the range.
Up to 500 kilometers.
Right. And that puts it comfortably in striking distance of major capitals, key military bases in the region.
A very intentional range.
And then there's the payload, the punch-it packs. It carries a heavy warhead between 480 and 700 kilograms.
And that can be a variety of things. High-explosive cluster munitions.
Or even those specialized bunker-busting payloads.
And, we have to mention this. Even though the export version Iran would get is conventional, the domestic Russian version can theoretically carry a nuclear warhead.
So the platform itself, just the delivery vehicle, raises those proliferation red flags.
Always. It's the platform that creates that long-term strategic concern, whatever the payload is today.
Okay, beyond its power, what's truly disruptive is its accuracy. The sources talk about this combination of inertial navigation, GLNASS satellite updates,
and an optical seeker in the terminal phase.
which gives it a CEP, a circle probability error of just 5 to 7 meters.
And let's just clarify what that means for anyone listening.
Please do.
CEP tells you the radius. If you fire 100 missiles, half of them will land within that 5 to 7 meter circle.
So we're not talking about hitting a city. We're talking about hitting a specific building.
A specific air traffic control tower. A single reinforced bunker door. That's the level of precision we're dealing with. It's a game changer for taking out hardened command centers or air defense nodes.
And that precision is paired with this ability to beat existing defenses. You mentioned its speed approaching Mach 7.
Which is incredibly fast.
But what is it about the flight path that makes it so hard for, say, a Patriot Pass-3 or Israel's Arrow system to stop it?
That's a really important distinction. See, older ballistic missiles, they follow a very high, very predictable arc, a simple curve.
Which gives defenses time to calculate and intercept.
Exactly. But the Iskander uses what we call a quasi-ballistic flight profile.
Okay, so help us translate that. What does quasi-ballistic actually look like?
It looks deceptive. Instead of that high arc, the missile stays lower in the atmosphere, and then in its final phase, it performs these really aggressive maneuvers.
So it's not flying straight anymore.
Not at all. It jinks, it turns, it constantly adjusts its course right before impact. Think of a high-speed skipping stone that suddenly changes direction multiple times.
And for a defending system, that's a nightmare.
It's a nightmare. It forces them to waste very expensive interceptors or just fail to get a lock entirely because the target is never where you predict it's going to be.
So let's shift from the hardware to the why. For Iran, this isn't about getting more missiles, is it? It's about getting a better missile.
It's a profound qualitative leap. That's the perfect way to put it.
They already have a pretty big arsenal.
They do. Iran has a deep, well-developed domestic program. We know the names, the Fateh 313, the Zulfiqar. These are proven systems. But even their very best missiles, they struggle to consistently replicate what the Iskander does.
That anti-interception capability.
That and the 5-meter precision. To develop that on their own would take years and an enormous amount of investment. This gives it to them overnight.
And the sources are very clear about how this is being framed. Fars news agency quoted an IRGC official.
An unnamed senior official, of course.
Of course. And they said this allows for a decisive response to any threat from Zionist entities or their allies.
So they're explicitly linking it to their core deterrence strategy against Israel and the U.S.
This isn't just a military upgrade. It's a strategic message.
It immediately expands their credible threat radius. Before, an attack might rely on just overwhelming a target with numbers. With the Iskander, even a small number of launchers, and speculation is maybe 4 to 12 units, it just fundamentally alters the whole calculation.
So if you're a military planner in Tel Aviv or maybe at TNT-ACOM, what assumptions have to change, like today?
Well, you immediately lose the luxury of time and certainty. Any high-value fixed target within that 500-kilometer radius is now at an unacceptable level of risk.
We're talking hardened aircraft shelters, command bunkers, major radar installations.
All of them. Planners have to assume those targets can now be hit with near absolute accuracy and with much shorter warning times.
That has to complicate the tactical map in a huge way. Does it mean you have to pull assets back out of that danger zone?
It might. Assets like advanced fighter jets, maybe even F-35s, might need to be moved. It also pressures you to abandon that shoot, look, shoot doctrine.
Where you fire one interceptor and see if it works before firing another.
Right. Against a Mach 7 maneuvering Iskander, you don't have that time. You have to fire everything at once and hope for the best.
Which brings us to the really strategic part of this story, because it's operating less like news and more like, well, a signal.
It's a classic textbook information operation. You just have to look at where it's coming from.
Iranian state-aligned media, Tasnim, Fars News.
Exactly. And they're all magnifying these unverified claims, but crucially, with no hard evidence. No photos, no serial numbers, no shipping manifests, nothing.
And that line from Tasnim, that the system has arrived today, feels very specific.
It's time to create the maximum immediate psychological effect, to create that deterrent impact right now.
But the real masterstroke here seems to be the silence from the main players.
It's a calculated silence.
Russia's refusal to comment. The Kremlin just calling them speculative media reports. That's not an accident, is it?
Not at all. It's deliberately strategic. It fits perfectly with Moscow's post-2022 playbook of using ambiguity to avoid diplomatic fallout while still gaining leverage.
And Tehran is playing the same game.
With equal skill. Their foreign ministry spokesman didn't deny it. He just insisted that defense cooperation is a sovereign matter.
Which maintains that perfect level of ambiguity.
It's the sweet spot. If they deny it, the deterrence benefit is gone. If they confirm it, they risk triggering a huge international response, maybe even preemptive action.
So they capitalize on the perception of having the weapon without paying the price for actually confirming it.
Exactly. And that perception forces their opponents, Israel, the U.S., to plan for the worst-case scenario.
They have to spend the money and move the assets as if it's real.
Even if it's a complete bluff. The rumor alone is doing the strategic work. The ambiguity is the weapon.
So let's connect this to the bigger picture. The geostrategic ripples here go way beyond Iran's borders. Let's start with Israel.
For Israel, the threat is twofold. It's the qualitative escalation, of course, the ability to hit critical sites with high penetration probability.
And the second part?
The shortened warning time. It really complicates any potential Israeli preemptive action. The calculus for engaging Iranian proxies or assets shifts entirely because the potential response now is much faster and much more precise.
And what about the United States, with its large presence in the Gulf?
It's an immediate increase in risk to frontline forces and bases. Now, U.S. bases have robust defenses, things like THAAD and Patriot systems.
But the Iskander is designed to stress those very systems.
Precisely. It forces commanders to constantly reevaluate the vulnerability of their logistics hubs, their command centers.
This vulnerability must also be felt very acutely by the Gulf states, Saudi Arabia, the UAE.
Oh, absolutely. They face a greater threat of precision attack than ever before, which does two things. First, it strengthens their incentive to spend a lot of money very quickly on missile defense.
And second,
it acts as a massive accelerant for regional security cooperation. It pushes them further into coordinated defense planning with the U.S. and, even quietly with Israel, regardless of other political frictions.
And we can't really talk about this without putting it in the context of the Russia-Iran strategic partnership. The timing seems significant.
It's not a coincidence. This is happening as Moscow becomes more and more dependent on Iranian-made Shahed drones for its war in Ukraine.
So this is strategic compensation.
It's highly transactional. It's driven by mutual necessity. Russia needs those cheap, effective drones right now. Iran wants advanced technology, legitimacy, and sophisticated weapons now that the UN missile embargo on them ended in 2023.
So the Iskander is the ultimate payback for the drones.
It's the ultimate strategic compensation. It formalizes a military relationship that gets around Western sanctions and gives Russia a very powerful long-term defense client.
And in doing so, it accelerates global arms proliferation.
That's the third critical ripple effect. Russia's showing it's willing to export this kind of advanced tech. It raises serious alarms globally, way beyond the Middle East.
Where else?
Well, analysts are immediately worried about similar capabilities maybe reaching North Korea or influencing China's own development of countermeasures to Western missile defenses.
So conflicts in Ukraine and Gaza are directly fueling a global arms race.
They're creating new market dynamics, reshaping deterrence far beyond the original battlefield.
So to summarize the core issue for you, the listener,
Yeah.
the strategic impact of this Iskander rumor has already landed. It's forced an entire region to adjust defensive plans and allocate resources, whether a single missile has actually been delivered or not.
We are literally watching perception become a primary instrument of military power.
Which really is the core of 21st century conflict.
Absolutely. And whether the Iskander arrived yesterday or not, its mere existence in the media proves how information warfare and ambiguity can shape security outcomes just as decisively as military hardware. So the crucial, enduring question for you is this. How do you effectively counter a threat that exists only in a press release and strategic silence? How do you defend against a ghost?
A profound question, and one that gets right to the heart of modern security. Thank you for joining us for this deep dive. If you want to explore more topics shaping global security and risk, please be sure to check out our other deep dives. See you next time.
If you found this discussion valuable, please like, share, and subscribe to the Geostrategic Podcast for more in-depth analysis on topics that shape our world. Stay informed, stay ahead, and stay tuned for the next episode. See you in the next one.